What's up, YouTube? It's Devious RC, and I'm coming to you from my garage, where I got all my RC toys, all my tools, and everything that I like to work on a daily basis, because I'm just an RC fan like everybody else does, getting information about new builds and what they see out in the market. I'm not doing this for money. I just love doing this, and I feel like, I'll put some YouTube videos about, things that I've overcome, the crashes or whatever that I came across that was like, oh man, this messed up on me. And something you can learn from, just like I learned from other videos that I've seen on YouTube, and make sure my builds will come out pretty good. So we're talking about the MD-500. It's a motion RC helicopter, GPS controlled by Roban. I think it's a pretty good heli. I love it. I always love GPS helis, even though I do have a collective pitch without GPS heli that I know how to fly. The GPS makes it fun, makes it more versatile in the presses that you want to fly FPV mode, especially FPV mode that I've done recently with this video that I just posted, and which I enjoyed. I'm going to show you some of the enhancements that I did on my heli just to make it work better, efficient. And I noticed on different battery packs which ones to use and which ones not to use, because you get more flight time. If you guys enjoy it and you like it, hey, like and subscribe. It's up to you guys. I really don't look for it. You do what you want to do. I'm just showing you the stuff that I ran into that I feel like, works best and might help you achieve your goals and making your heli fly better, and make sure that anything you work on RC-wise is better. So here's the Sheriff Fresno County helicopter, MD-500. You can get this on Motion RC. I believe they're sold out at the moment, because I looked online recently and I seem like everybody has purchased this heli, and I can understand why. It's a real fun heli to have. It is GPS controlled, and this has a Fly Sky receiver that comes with the Fly Sky controller, which I believe is the IX90 or 80 or something like that. I can't remember what model number that controller is, but it has a good reception, and the receiver has an S+, which makes the whole GPS control helis, which are very popular nowadays, being controlled by the receiver and controller. And with this one specifically, because I also own a Flywing, the Flywing helicopter, I use the H1 flight control that comes GPS. This Roban caught my eye because this is the first time that I've seen Roban make a GPS flight controller. And to be honest, it's not so bad. I like it. It's pretty good. It's decent. Does its job. And going around the helicopter, I wanted to show you, to show what I've done to modify the cabin to make sure that everything stays cool in the heli. Now, one of the things I want you to keep an eye on, you see this ESC right here? So the ESC right here, I noticed the first couple of flight times, it got real hot. I put my finger on it and it was like burning. I'm like, man, this ESC gets hot, and that can cause issues in the future or even cutouts. And we wouldn't want that, because that's a lot of money invested into a helicopter that you don't want it to fall out of the sky, or the motor to, well, not the motor, most likely to burn out, or whatever case may be that could happen to cause any failures in flight. So what I did is I modified the screen, which is one of the plastic windows on the left side of the heli, and I put a grill with I believe it's a 40mm fan. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this fan right here keeps that cabin cold. After flight times, once I land and I touch that ESC, it is like super cold. It doesn't even get hot. And I feel like that's a great asset when it comes to these helicopters, because when you're in the air, the less failures or less component failures you want is the better for you, because you don't want this helicopter to fall out the sky. And also right here, if you see by the side, that's my Roku ID remote, which is a remote ID that the FAA requires for you to fly anything that's over 250 grams. All right, so here we come to the custom base. I took some wood planks, that you call it, craft wood. I found this on Amazon. I went and Googled, wood sheets for building or craft building, RC building. Any kind of Google where you can think about, these things will come up. They come by 6x6 sheet. And all I do is just cut it down, created my own holes, and glued it together. What I did here was, with this base, obviously you have the strap here. And the strap, I still use the same original strap that came with the heli. That's something that I didn't want to have to modify. And then this will go right on top. As you can see, I put a piece of Velcro here. This is just to secure this from moving back like side to side to keep it where I wanted to keep it, and not to like move around whether the heli's flying or whenever I'm putting the battery pack in or when I'm installing the camera. Now that I got the base on, the strap, I used this hole to the left and I didn't use the hole to the right because I wanted to go over in case I had to shift my battery around depending on the size of battery I was going to use. I'm using the original 5200 MA that comes with it, 4S, but I also have these 4000 milliamp 4S packs that actually are 60C and not 30C that it comes with the heli. And surprisingly, the 60C actually was giving me more flight time than the 5200 30C output. So that was pretty good, and more into detail about that later. But just for now, the base is on there. Pretty much it's centered. As long as the battery sits on this portion of the helicopter, everything is still balanced. And then I'm going to show you what the camera looks like next. So I went and set the camera in, the gimbal and the Caddx camera right there. The battery centered to the heli, keep the balance. And then I had to put an extension fitting on the cord for the power for the ESC, and an additional fitting with the wire to supply the power with a JST connector for the camera, and then the plug for the battery. Now, on this 5200 milliamp battery that comes with the Roban, it gave me about 7 minutes flight time with the camera engaged, only if you're consistently flying it, as in like you're not touching down and then taking off again. If you land and then start up again for some, that draws power and that's going to drain your battery. I only maybe got about 6 minutes or 6.5 minutes, I believe. Now, when I switched the battery to a 4000 milliamp and a 60C discharge, I actually was able to get 9 minutes of full flight time without landing on this heli with the camera engaged. With the camera eating the power from the battery, obviously. And that gave me 9 minutes with no problem. Now, I started to land and then take off twice with the 4000 milliamp 60C battery, and that caused it to drain significantly. And then I only probably was getting 6 minutes of flight time just at the 5200 milliamp. For the fan that I installed here to keep everything cool and the ESC cool, I'm actually using a small little battery that I had laying around, 1100 milliamp 3S battery. Very simple, very small, 35C, has no weight on it, barely puts any more weight on the heli, and it slides right in underneath the heli, sits right there underneath the cowl and with no problem. I connect that. I must have flown 3 times and that battery's still not discharged. So it gives good power for the fan, keeps it running long time. It runs sufficient enough to keep everything cool inside. And obviously, not only is keeping the ESC cool, but also the VTX for the camera. Because, VTX HD, they get really hot. And even with this fan, you can still feel the heat generated off the VTX. So that fan even keeps it colder. So like I said, I'm a big believer of keeping everything cool component-wise, because not only does it make the flight time, easy going and not have any issues while in flight, but also, let your components last longer, give it more lifespan. So for now, guys, that is my Fresno County Sheriff MD-500 Heli. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment, and I'll be sure to answer as soon as I can get to the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy that flight that I posted earlier. Thanks for watching.